welcome to A Good Walk Spoiled Adventures in Golf with your host, Scott Poniewaz, also known as Pony Golf. A Good Walk Spoiled is part of the Millions.co and Golfer Gang networks. Thank you for tuning in. Let's swing into this week's episode.
Hello and welcome to another episode of A Good Walk Spoiled. This is 4th of July week. I'm sure everybody is busy getting their swings in order for their big 4th of July events. I know that personally up in Big Sky, I've got our Firecracker Open, which is team scramble event, pretty fun format where we're going to have red, white, blue tees rotating through. So it makes it a little fun and interesting, along with some other games that go along with that sort of 4-person scramble situation. So should be a fun 4th of July here in Montana. Hopefully you have some fun 4th of July plans for yourself coming up tomorrow by the time this ends up posting. I do have some really fun interviews that are pending here in the next week or two that I'm going to be excited to push live. I'm not going to say who they are or what they are, but you'll have to stay tuned. But let's just say pretty awesome club manufacturer that is tied in with some of golf's biggest names right now. And that sort of company founder and CEO, he's going to be on in the coming weeks. So I'm super excited about that. We got some other people that are building some really cool technologies in golf as well in the future episodes. These are all recorded and being edited as we speak. So super excited for what's to come. So if you personally are listening and think you'd make a great guest, by all means, reach out to me. Always looking for great new people to add in here. If you know of anybody that you'd like to refer, of course, welcome that as well. You can always hit me up at pony_golf, which I'm pointing to there, my little name thing in the lower left-hand corner if you're watching the YouTube, which I encourage you all to do. My YouTube episodes, the watches kind of go up and down. I feel like right now maybe everybody's just golfing and not watching YouTube golf, but I do know that like some of the earlier episodes where I sort of walk through Nelly Corda's background and some of that stuff, that one was super popular over there. I know that my how I went from a 15 to a 2 handicap and sort of worked my way to scratch, that episode, if you're either listening or watching on YouTube, I know that one has been getting quite a bit of traction, so go check that one out. Today's episode is 4th of July themed, so those of you here in the States will appreciate the Independence Day. For those of you that are not in the United States, 4th of July is our Independence Day and a big summer holiday that is hitting this week for us all, and it tends to be a very big golf holiday and a lot of golf events, scrambles, tournaments, all that kind of fun stuff that go on. So today we're going to talk about a very important U.S. Open that happened on the 4th of July back in 1927. You might recognize the name, a guy by the name of Bobby Jones. And so we'll get into that whole story. And that particular win was a sort of famous U.S. Open in history, and also a very historical day in history for Oakmont Country Club. So I'm also going to go into some of the history of Oakmont Country Club, which is a famous club, and that's sort of a mix of a chips, bites, and flights. I've never actually played there, and I haven't actually traveled there, and hopefully I'll have the opportunity to play there one of these days. But I just thought 4th of July, the ties of Oakmont, so it's a great way to sort of put our patriotic hat on for this particular episode. Other thing I just want to shout out, those of you that are watching the podcast are seeing the new gear thanks to millions.co. I encourage you to head over to my millions.co page to help support my golf habit and also start to support and rep the Good Walk Spoiled brand here. Millions.co/Scott Poniewaz Golf. That's my millions.co. So millions.co/Scott Poniewaz Golf. You can also find that in the description where you are hearing these podcasts. I've got the hoodies, t-shirts, hats, as you're seeing here. The logo is iconic, but it also has a little hidden a Good Walk Spoiled. So it's not all super branded. It's sort of like that discreet Good Walk Spoiled feature there between the shoulders, which I like when we were designing these. I told them I wanted to be more about the iconic walking symbol, a Good Walk Spoiled /Pony Golf. And then the other thing too that is pretty cool is I do now have some custom Pony Golf Holderness and Born golf shirts that I'm going to start repping on here as well. And I'm going to just pull one of these out because they're so cool looking. I'm super excited about these. They're fresh in. They just arrived. The custom embroidery. Let's just hold that up there. You can see that little iconic logo walking. Again, Holderness and Born. Fantastic shirts, one of my partners. So I don't have those for sale yet. However, if you do go to my bio, you can grab Holderness and Born shirts, and I'll have that link dropped into the bio here so that you can grab Holderness and Born shirts. They don't have the logo on them yet, but if you do have your own company or have something else that you want to get your own custom logo on, you can always contact them for customization. And they can help with that. But Holderness and Born, favorite golf shirts on the market. I'm going to try to figure out the best way to work with them to get those shirts out there in the wild as well, because they're just phenomenal. So enough of that pitching kind of stuff. As always, you can, wherever you're finding me now, you can always find me on Apple Podcasts. You can find me on YouTube, Spotify. You can find me on the Golfer Gang Network. You can find me on iHeartRadio, all those different podcast networks out there. And of course, millions.co. You can always subscribe to my stuff over there, get notifications as well as the merch as new stuff comes available. I do appreciate you using any of the links that are in the description because they ultimately help me keep producing this. There's monthly storage fees and production costs and all that kind of fun stuff. And it does take me time to record these, but I am just doing it mostly as a passion project. I'm by no means making millions despite the millions.co name over there, but they have been helping me with the branding and design and production and all that kind of fun stuff. So millions.co/Scott-Poniewaz-Golf, or you can just search for me in there. You can get these sweet hoodies, t-shirts, hats, all kinds of fun stuff, all different colors as well. So go grab those, support me, appreciate it. And with that, I am going to drop us into this week's episode. So here we go. So today's episode, I figured with 4th of July, people are going to be on the move. I don't know how many people are actually going to even listen to this week's episode live or like this week, because sure, you might throw it on when you're traveling, but if you're in the car with your family, the last thing, the kids and perhaps your significant other want to listen to is more golf stuff. So that being said, I thought it was kind of a fun idea to sort of borrow something that one of my good friends, Tomek, actually, from back in Wisconsin, has been doing, and he calls them soccer bedtime stories. He has a whole podcast. So if you are also a soccer player and you have kids, go check out his podcast, because he's basically taking a lot of these historical moments in soccer history and turning them into sort of bedtime stories for what originally started as these soccer bedtime stories for his kids that he now publishes as a podcast under Soccer Bedtime Stories. And unlike me, he's making some runs up the lists as far as popularity is concerned for a lot of the soccer related podcasts. So kudos to Tomek and everything that he's done with his podcast. He's also kind of helped me with some technical stuff behind the scenes here as I sort of made my foray into the world of golf podcasting. So shout out to Tomek. Go check out his Soccer Bedtime Stories podcast. I will also drop a link in there for this, and I'll shout him out just because, this is sort of in that same realm, even though it's made for all ages. So 4th of July, Nathan's hot dogs, fireworks, family barbecues, all that kind of fun stuff. Some of the best and the worst parts of America. I wouldn't say that the ability to eat 60 or 70 hot dogs in a tight time frame is one of the best traits of America and the best exports of American sporting prowess. However, it is what it is. That being said, the 4th of July, 1927 is where we're going to take today's episode. Not just a day of traditional American celebrations and patriotism, also a significant milestone in golf history. On that momentous day, Bobby Jones achieved a remarkable feat by winning his 3rd U.S. Open at Oakmont Country Club. So the victory stood out not only because of its proximity to Independence Day being on Independence Day, but also because of the incredible skill, mental fortitude, and sportsmanship displayed by Jones on that day. His performance exemplified the synergy between American patriotism and the pursuit of sporting excellence, and it remains a highlight in the world of golf history. So Bobby Jones, born Robert Tyre Jones Jr. in Atlanta, Georgia, was no stranger to golf aficionados. Even at the young age of 25, he had already established himself as a formidable amateur golfer. Known for his strategic mind and his flawless technique that still is shown in golf instruction books to this day, Jones's career was marked by his significant achievements against the best in the world. However, the 1927 U.S. Open at Oakmont was a just defining moment in his career that really put him in the books. Oakmont Country Club, located just outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, is famous for its challenging layout, lightning fast greens, deep bunkers. These characteristics just make it one of the most testing courses in golf. And as golfers teed off on July 1st in 27, the field was strong, but all eyes were definitely on Mr. Bobby Jones, who is vying for his third U.S. Open title. And now, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, if you listened to the Jeff Hartman episode from where we discussed Golfer Gang Network, that's where he's from. So if you want to hear some more about Pittsburgh golf and some of the golf courses in that area, highly recommend taking a listen back at that episode. Jeff Hartman, a couple episodes back. Great episode. He's the one who sort of brought Golfer Gang Network to fruition. So highly worth a listen, and that tie back into Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So again, Bobby Jones, back to the story. Bobby Jones, vying for his third U.S. Open title, began the tournament with usual composed demeanor. Throughout the first rounds, he just had remarkable consistency, tackling the difficult conditions with precision. His approach shots were accurate, his putting exceptional, and his ability to recover from tough spots was nothing short of extraordinary. Skills were vital given Oakmont's demanding nature, which punished even the slightest of errors in that tournament. As the final round progressed on July 4th, the atmosphere started to turn electric. Spectators who had come to witness the national championship on Independence Day sensed they were about to experience this incredible piece of history. Jones's performance on that day embodied a perfect blend of technical mastery and mental resilience. Despite facing intense competition and the pressure of a significant tournament, he maintained his strategic play, which showcased his deep understanding of the game. So the climax of this U.S. Open event on the 4th of July came on the back nine of the final round. Requiring a strong finish to secure his victory, Bobby Jones displayed nerves of steel. His final few holes were a masterclass in controlled golf. On the 18th tee, needing to avoid disaster to clinch the title, Jones delivered a perfect drive and precise approach shot, setting himself up for a straightforward par. As he holed out, the gallery erupted in applause. Jones was crowned the champion with a total score of just one stroke ahead of the runner-up. And this victory was not merely about winning the U.S. Open. It was about overcoming one of the toughest courses under immense pressure and making for a fabulous event on the 4th of July. So Jones's victory at Oakmont on Independence Day of 2027 held a deeper significance beyond all the golfing realm. The early 20th century was a period of American cultural and industrial growth, and Jones essentially started to represent the embodiment of American ideals such as hard work, humility, excellence, and his success on July 4th served as a metaphorical celebration of American values, resonating deeply with the public. The U.S. Open, Bobby Jones, the 4th of July. So the timing of the win added a layer of national pride as Americans could rally behind a homegrown talent who had achieved great heights on this symbolic American holiday. Moreover, this win was a pivotal moment in Jones's illustrious career, propelling him towards his historic Grand Slam in 1930, where he would win 4 major championships in a single year. His triumph at Oakmont was a crucial and critical step on that path, displaying the skill and determination that would make him the only golfer to accomplish such a feat. The 1927 U.S. Open served as a testament to his enduring legacy to the sport. So in conclusion, Jones's victory at the 27 U.S. Open at Oakmont, now 97 years ago, incredible, I believe that's 97 years ago, at Oakmont on July 4th was a spectacular blend of golfing prowess and national pride, and it remains a landmark event celebrated for his technical excellence, emotional impact, and symbolic value. So that makes it one of the most remarkable moments in golf history. And as we recently wrapped up the US Open at historic Pinehurst #2 the other week with a win by Bryson DeChambeau on his second US Open win, his first being at Wingfoot several years prior. Perhaps Bryson DeChambeau aims to step into Bobby Jones's historical footsteps, and perhaps he's on track to win his third in 1927 as well. Food for thought until another day. So we're going to take a quick break and be back after a short message from one of my sponsors and partners. Those of you that are frequent listeners of the podcast realize that this has been a missing segment for a few episodes, and we've had some awesome guests that I can't speak highly enough, and I'm not going to say one's better than the other because they're all excellent, and I think they all have appeal to a variety of audiences, from the head of tournaments for the Montana State Golf Association to people that focus on mental health, performance in golfers, to the Amateur Players Tour founder, and several other guests along the way that have events that tie into Fish Tour. For those of you that might be getting ready to go see some fish shows this summer, there's all sorts of fun topics that all tap into golf in one way or another, and also have personal ties in many senses to golf for me personally, and a good walk spoiled. So Chips, Bites, and Flights, because of so many of those great interviews, I wanted to keep episodes at a sort of digestible length. None of us have 3 hours to listen to a podcast, so I tend to keep them, about 30 to 45 minutes, depending. And so you can catch those episodes. Just go back. Be sure to subscribe so you stay in the loop for the upcoming ones, because I have some awesome guests as well coming up. So with that, Chips, Bites, and Flights. Typically, Chips, Bites, and Flights is sort of my travel segment where I highlight various golf courses, destinations. I talk about the hotels, the lodging, places to stay, all that kind of stuff. Oakmont Country Club is going to be sort of a standout because I've never played there, but because of that first segment, Bobby Jones winning his third US Open on the 4th of July, as we celebrate Independence Day this week here on A Good Walk Spoiled, I just thought, you know what? I'm going to do some research, do some digging, pull some interesting facts about Oakmont Country Club, because it does have so much history in the game of golf, and especially American golf and American golf architecture. And so I really wanted to focus on this. I would do a Chips, Bites, and Flights segment. However, I haven't been to Pittsburgh for probably, 8, 9 years. And even the hotels that I stayed at when I was in Pittsburgh have since closed or changed ownership. So, I don't have much, unfortunately, for you. So I'm going to just focus on Oakmont. And so this edition of Chips, Bites, and Flights at Oakmont Country Club is going to just talk about the history, the background, all that kind of stuff. And I hope you enjoy getting to know this club that has sat in sort of prominence within the American golf club world. And hopefully one day I will get an opportunity to play there. So Oakmont Country Club is nestled into the rolling hills of western Pennsylvania on the outskirts of Pittsburgh. It was founded in 1903 by Pittsburgh industrialist Henry Clay Founds, and it was designed to be the ultimate test of golf. And it served as such during that 1927 U.S. Open, just a mere 24 years after its founding in 1903. Not only achieved that lofty goal, but has carved its niche thanks to numerous major championships, including that U.S. Open we covered in the first segment. Henry Clay Founds, after accumulating considerable wealth in the iron business, dedicated himself to crafting a golf course that demanded precision and patience. And so, in its early years, with its original design par set at 80 and a length of 6,400 yards, Oakmont was significantly more challenging than other courses in its era. I actually don't know any other courses that are really set at a par 80, and I don't know if any even still exist. And it definitely is no longer a par 80 these days at 6,400 yards. However, he modeled the course after the world's greatest links courses with an emphasis on natural terrain, minimalistic design, and problem creating hazards. So the rise to prominence for Oakmont was, despite its intimidating layout, Oakmont was soon recognized as a premier golfing destination. The USGA saw its potential and selected it to host its first national tournament, which was the 1919 US Amateur. Oakmont member S. Davidson Heron defeated Bobby Jones in that 1919 U.S. Amateur, and it set a precedent for Oakmont as a stage for significant golfing milestones. So when the U.S. Open returned in 1927 for that July 4th U.S. Open, it featured a grueling contest where, as we discussed earlier, Bobby Jones emerged victorious with his skill and composure, and it was a stepping stone in his illustrious career. And it also just highlighted the challenging nature with narrow fairways, deep bunkers, and fast greens that have come to define Oakmont. However, over the years, Oakmont has undergone several changes to maintain its status as a challenging and modern course, and some architectural it's that kind of a day. I'm ready for the holiday. Architectural evolution had sort of come on board. So the original course, designed with roughly 100 bunkers, now boasts over 300 strategically placed hazards filled with thick, coarse Allegheny river sand. Oakmont's bunkers are designed to penalize these wayward shots harshly, most notably with the infamous, quote, church pew design bunkers between the third and fourth fairways. This feature is definitely a famous design feature now for Oakmont, and represents its commitment to maintaining that purity and difficulty envisioned by Bounds. So then, sort of World War II and beyond, the 1940s brought some different challenges as the course and club had to endure the impacts of World War II. During this period, Oakmont continued nurturing its deep-rooted philosophy of offering one of the most challenging golfing experiences, and the most notable changes included the planting of thousands of trees, which later had to be removed in the 1990s to restore the course to its original open links style format, as recommended by USGA to restore the landscape's original form, which was designed by Henry Clay Founds. So, interesting to see that same shift in a lot of courses happening today, where trees were introduced to make a course more challenging. Now they're getting pulled back out. A lot of it, especially to restore the original design of these courses and the architecture that had been initially envisioned, but then also too, just finding that all these extra trees and coverage were creating a lot of maintenance challenges as well for courses, which is another sort of interesting factor where, all the tree cover hitting out of, these tight tree lined fairways are sort of being rolled back now. So very interesting stuff there. Notable championships. So as we have discussed, the US Open, it's been a venue for several different events, and it's actually now hosted 9 US Opens to date, the most of any other course, with a 10th scheduled for 2025. I don't know when Pinehurst might end up overtaking Oakmont. They might actually now in the future, with some of those future scheduled dates happening. But Oakmont will see its 10th in just a short couple of years, 2025. So at the same time, it could be Bryson hitting the 2025 at Oakmont, or it could be the 27. So it would be almost like a centennial Bobby Jones 3 US Open. So we've got some options here for historical reasons for Bryson to win either in 2025 or in 2027. Each Open has continued to solidify Oakmont's reputation for toughness and fairness. Ben Hogan's victory in the 1953 US Open, as an example, was a highlight of his Triple Crown season, where Ben Hogan showcased astounding consistency and strategic play to conquer Oakmont's layout. Another memorable moment was Jack Nicklaus's first major victory at the 1962 US Open, where he outlasted local hero Arnold Palmer in a playoff described by Palmer as a, quote, changing of the guard in American golf. And so the 1962 US Open, where Nicklaus overtook Arnold Palmer. So in more recent years, going into modern day Oakmont, it's continued to host significant tournaments, such as the 2007 US Open, where Angel Cabrera emerged victorious, and the 2016 US Open, where Dustin Johnson claimed his maiden major title. Both events reinforced the course's reputation for providing firm and fast playing conditions that test even the best golfers, as well as seemingly giving these emerging golfers their sort of stage to shine and step out of the shadows. Oakmont's greens are among the fastest in the world. Maintaining them requires meticulous care and expertise, and so the course also played a pivotal role in the creation of the stimp meter, which is an instrument used to measure golf green speed, which also sort of highlights Oakmont's influence on the technical aspects of golf course management. So now when you hear about the stimp and the speed of greens on tournament days running 12 or 11.6 or whatever the stimp on that particular day is, stimp meter was basically created at Oakmont. So there you go. Moments in history. So Oakmont's legacy and its future, it's not just preserved in its history of hosting all of these different major championships, including the US amateurs, but also in its ongoing commitment to challenging every aspect of golf skill. Club's rich history and its dedication to maintaining the integrity and challenge of the course make it a treasure to the golfing world. So looking to the future, Oakmont is set to continue its tradition and plans to host the US Open again, as I mentioned, next year, 2025, then also again in 2033, then 2042, and again in 2049. So this trajectory ensures that Oakmont is going to remain a staple and a pinnacle of championship golf, testing golfers for generations to come. Of course, his ability to remain relevant and challenging while preserving that historical essence just speaks volumes of the foresight of its founder, Henry Clay Founds, and the meticulous care that's been taken over the decades. So going into a little bit of the community and culture, beyond that, Oakmont is known for fostering unique culture with a tradition of sense of community. It's got its private membership club side, commitment to excellent with the pristine conditions, the foresight to look into the future with, committing to hosting opens as far out as 2049 already, and maintaining those high standards of performance and presentation. It's no wonder that it's maintained the recognition that it's got. So in conclusion, Oakmont, tapestry of remarkable achievements, unforgettable moments, and dedication to the spirit of golf. So from the founding in 1903 by Henry Clay, this iron industrial man of capitalism success, to its role as a perennial host of major championships, it's going to consistently and forever have its name etched into the history of golf. Again, wrapping up with that shining example of the 1927 Open as well as the 1962 Nicholas Open, and many more with Dustin Johnson in 2016, and the one that we'll get to watch next year. It looks forward to its future championships and continues to embody the values of precision, perseverance, and passion for the game, and its commitment to its storied greens and their stimp meter and the challenging bunkers. And, it's just going to forever remain a cherished landmark in the game of golf for so many years to come. So with that, we'll wrap up today's episode of Chips, Bites, and Flights. Thank you for tuning in. And I am going to call it on today's episode. Reminder, check out the links in the description. I've got my link tree with a bunch of other stuff with putting mats for practicing. I've got Galway Golf rain gear if you need to upgrade your rain gear for the summer. Stay dry. I also have a link to Holderness and Bourne. Go get geared up with their pants, shirts, quarter zips, their pullovers, their sweaters, all some of my favorite golf clothing out there. And of course, golfergangnetwork.com, golfergang.com for Golfer Gang Network of podcasts if you're looking for other golf-related podcasts to tune into. Subscribe, like, listen, and go grab some of this fantastic Pony Golf A Good Walk Spoiled merchandise. And you can pick that up over at millions.co/Scott-Poniewaz-golf. And if you actually head over to millions.co and check out some more of the media and content over there, I actually have some different interviews with their team, some different highlight clips from previous episodes, all sorts of good stuff. So go to millions.co, check it out. Subscribe over there, subscribe on YouTube, subscribe and comment and like on all of these, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc. Helps me out immensely and keeps me going creating these. And of course, comment and send me any feedback on what you'd like to see so that we can make these even better for all of you. So keep tuning in. Thanks so much for being a listener, and we'll all catch up soon, hopefully on the links at a course near you one of these days. That concludes today's episode of A Good Walk Spoiled, Adventures in Golf, hosted by Scott Poniewaz. That's myself. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to like, subscribe, rate it high, and follow us on Instagram at pony_golf to stay in the loop. We'll catch you next time.